Hello everyone, VJ's32 back again, and let's check out what is going on in the world of playing cards on Kickstarter for this week. There's quite a bit going on. First of all, we got, the Ambassadors by Oath Playing Cards by Lotric is well funded. 6 days to go, definitely worth checking out. There's 2 different colors available. Was it red and green, I believe. These are the Player's Edition if you missed out. If you didn't get the previous versions, the collector's editions, because they're too expensive, this is a much more affordable option, which I appreciate Lotric producing, because it's a beautiful design and I'd like to have it in my collection, even if it's not the collector's edition, which, by the way, I believe you can still add on if they're still available, if you still want to get them. Next up, we got Wild Vibe Jungle Geometric Animal Playing Cards by Zing Playing Cards. It's 18% funded, 23 days to go. It's not doing too well at this rate. It's a pretty big goal. I'm not sure that they're going to fund actually at this rate. It's a first time project. Top case looks pretty nice for what it is. How ironic. The guy's name is Merrick. He's doing the jungle playing cards. Why is it ironic? And also the name Wild. Because, and this is going to be a little bit weird, I am a fan of Power Rangers. And several years ago, this is going back almost 15 years now, there was a series called Power Rangers Wild Force. And one of the characters on there was named Merrick. And it was an animal-themed series with some of these animals in it, so it's kind of ironic. The court cards you see are animals, and they're pretty colorful, and they have they're animals with a little bit of a geometric vibe to their bodies. Pretty nice. Not really my cup of tea. I see the queens are all birds, the jacks are all monkeys, and the kings are all tigers. Personally, I think the kings should have been lions, because they're the king of the jungle, obviously. Why tiger instead? I don't know. But they're pretty colorful, and each suit kind of has its own color scheme to the animals. Well, somewhat. I guess, sort of, somewhat, not really. At least each one has a different color, but it's more or less repetitive court cards, which is a bit disappointing. That's exactly what they are. They're just different colors, but they're the same court cards. So repeating court cards. The aces have big pips. And they got geometric looking, of course, which is kind of weird. I mean, you wouldn't exactly picture that with a animal theme. They've made the ace of spades a elephant as well. Custom number cards, and then the jokers. They're pretty cool. They're frogs. Although I'm not, I guess that is jungle. I guess because it's not safari. So yeah, I guess they kind of make sense. I'm not sure actually if they would have lions in the jungle. I guess a tiger would make more sense. The back design it's okay. It fits the theme, the color scheme. I think it's mirror imaged. Looks like it is. Kind of thick on the borders and not overly exciting, but it fits the theme. It works. Custom seal that says "Be Wild." I mean, it's an okay project. I'm not sure. Oh yes, it's going to be USB-C produced if I recall correctly. Not sure why they have pictures of people doing cardistry in this project, because it's not exactly the type of deck that cardists are going to buy, in my opinion. Couple minor issues though with this as well. First of all, they're hoping to put in production. The project's supposed to be funded by mid-December, and they hope to begin production at that time, which is fine. They expect to have the decks finished by the beginning of February and sent to them in the UK. Then apparently it's not going to be until the beginning of March when they receive the decks and begin distributing to backers all over the world. And then in March and April they get delivered, which is good. They got a timeline figured out and everything. But why send the decks all the way to the UK when a lot of the backers are going to be American and you'll be sending the decks back? This is why it is a good idea. I mean, it's good to send some of the decks out to the UK for fulfillment to international customers. However, it would make more sense to fulfill the decks to American backers and Canadian backers from America. It's just a lot more efficient, I would think. And I would wonder if there's a shipping cost for American backers. Ironically, it's from the UK, but they have a Canadian, oh no, it says here pledged, there's a Canadian goal. I don't know if that's just because I'm in Canada, but there's a 915 pounds of $8,400 Canadian. What's up with that? Is it pounds or Canadian? I'm not sure. Moving on, we got the Bicycle Four Seasons Summer Edition from Collectible Point Cards. It is funded, 14 days to go. I will pick up the whole set eventually. Also, from Collectible Point Cards, it's the Bicycle Marble Rider Point Cards designed by Max Point Cards. Max Saez. It is 36% funded, 28 days to go. Let's get that one funded. This is going to be, to my understanding, the last customized rider back. This has kind of gone on for a while where they don't want people customizing rider backs, but then they've allowed it to some extent. Now, the only customizing you can do after this deck with rider backs is changing the color. Which is fine. I understand the SPC wants to protect their back design and their property. And it's not the end of the world. They can continue this series without any major issues using maiden backs or mandolin backs, which is almost the same thing as rider backs. It's just a different character figure in these circles here in the center. That's the only difference. It's the same layout, more or less the same back design. That's why you see a lot of gaff decks nowadays and mark decks coming out as mandolin backs, as maiden backs and or mandolin backs, mostly maiden backs, because it's very similar to a bicycle deck. Most people wouldn't even notice there's a difference, and you can actually customize it, and that's what they were created for anyways. But yeah, this is the Marble Texture series. He's done wood and he's done a couple metals. The last one of the custom rider backs. I mean, up until now it had been that you can modify it a bit, but you can't change the actual art. But now apparently they don't want any modifications. And here's the faces. They're marbleized as well, if that's even a word. Yes, it is. No, I'm thinking caramelized. Marbleized. Let's marbleize it. The aces, they fit in line with his previous decks in the series. And of course, just fairly standard artwork. And customization on the pips. I see it's different from one pip to the other, which is pretty cool. Nice little difference. Yeah, but standard artwork. Apparently he's going to have numbered seals. Reveal on the tuck case. Reveal on the jokers like before. You can also get some of the previous decks. Not the original metal deck that's long sold out. My one concern is the goal is freaking high. Almost $23,000. Let's just say $23,000 US Canadian. I don't know what the hell that is. USCA. What the hell is that? But I don't know if that's Canadian, if it's American, if what the hell it is. But something is weird with Kickstarter now. But $23,000 goal, Canadian, American, whatever it is. It's pretty expensive, pretty big for a deck that's fairly standard. It's $14, $10 on the early bird for international customers, anyways. And it's still available too, which is kind of concerning. But I think the goal is just really high. I don't know if it's because they're going to charge them a lot more. Here, you want to produce it fine, but it's going to cost you twice as much, or I don't know what it is. Let's see if it responded to my comment. Yeah, early bird specials only for international backers to help out with the high shipping costs. Appreciate it. Thank you, Max. Apparently it's not a high goal. I don't know. Anyways, also, another new bicycle deck from TCC Playing Cards is the Bicycle TCC Rainbow Deck. It is 65% funded, 27 days to go. Booyah. There it is. It's a very colorful tuck case. And we got another project we'll get to as well. And this is what they did. They have made it so that all the backs have a different color plus a couple of gaff cards. Fully customized court cards apparently. Let's see about that. USBC branded, there you go. So that would be okay under USBC rules. It's just a different color back design. But apparently there's no white borders from what I can tell. And the faces, as you can see, they all have different colors as well. But I don't believe that the backs actually match the faces. Color-wise, I could be wrong. Actually, it does look like it does. So basically, it's a rainbow deck. It's also apparently a marked deck because you will be able to identify each card by the color. If you want to spend that much time trying to figure out each one. There's also some nice gaff cards. 3 of cards with a weird colored index. Different colors for jokers. And a different gaff card here as well. And these are the court cards. They are recolored. I will say that I would have preferred if the court cards just had white pips like the number cards. But I don't mind them having the different colors as well. That's fine. The indexes are still white. That being said, I would not have minded if... I do like how they recolored the court cards as well. My one concern is that they're going to produce all these decks as well, all these different color combinations, because that'll be ridiculous. But I expect them to do that. But it's a nice colorful deck. It's fun. I definitely am picking it up. But yeah, it would have been nice if they just kept, red pips. Well, I guess I could see how it would be problematic to have. Well, what they could have done wouldn't be problematic based on the colors. Is they could have had black pips for the spades and the clubs, and white pips for the hearts and the diamonds. That would have worked with the colors, and would have created some distinction between the blacks and the reds. But all being said and done, it doesn't really matter with this deck because it's not going to be the most usable for things because of all the different colors on each card. It really kind of would defeat the purpose of trying to make it more usable. But still a cool deck, and I'm definitely down. Art of Cardistry by Bookable is funded, 11 days to go. Avalon by Natalia Silva is still not funded. Come on, let's get it funded. It's a beautiful deck, beautiful artwork. It is 57% funded, 13 days to go. The Toby Town Test Playing Cards by KC Toby is 84% funded, 9 days to go. It's an okay deck. It's sort of been done before. Deck of cards that can be used for chess, but it's fine. It's pretty nice, not really my cup of tea. Sub Rows of Playing Cards by Card Sexy, who actually commented on my video. It's 46% funded, 25 days to go. It's an okay deck as well. I'm not sure it's going to fund at this rate, but there's actually plenty of time, so it may. The Bicycle Elegance by D. Phillips, it looks like they've added a white deck. It still doesn't really do it for me. It's 28% funded, 19 days to go. I just don't think it's going to cut the mustard, especially when you got so many other decks right now on Kickstarter, especially like the Avalon, the Bicycle Marble. So many others that I think deserve to fund before that one does. Same thing with the Leon playing cards, like Chris Mayhew. I appreciate him, doing this deck kind of as a homage to the Dr. Leon decks. But it really does nothing for me. It's too simple and plain. It's 45% funded, 60 days to go. I'm not sure it's going to happen. And again, part of that is just there's too many other great decks on Kickstarter right now. Lords and Gods of Egypt playing cards by SVI Group. This is actually a relaunch, I believe. It is funded, 24 days to go. We'll take a look. They got a lot of foiling and embossing on the tucks. Apparently 3 different ones. There's a Gods of Egypt, a Lords of Egypt, and a Lords and Gods of Egypt. Because 2 wasn't enough. And these, I believe, are being produced by Noir Arts. Oh, no, they're being produced by their own company, whatever that is. Could be in their basement. I don't know. They haven't. I have a concern with, backing a project when you don't know what the quality is going to be like. It looks very nice and flashy and fancy and luxurious, but the quality is questionable. And here you see the back designs. They're nice. They're colorful. Kind of a red deck and a blue deck and a black deck. Pretty nice back designs. Silver metallic inks on the backs as well. Gold and silver. They previously did another project, the Star Kings. And beautiful artwork on the faces. It's pretty nice overall, and I, like to support it. I just have concerns with the quality and what it's going to be like. Who, is the actual printer? I don't know. I know it's not. I'm pretty sure it's not Noir Arts. It's definitely not MPC or USB-C, unless they've changed that. But it looks pretty nice. I will say that much. And it might be, something worth keeping my eye on and thinking about. That's for sure. But there's that one. Next up, Sumi playing cards by Card Experiment. Well funded, 10 days to go. We're getting close to unlocking the Bicycle branded deck. Then there is the Pike and Clover playing cards, which is pretty nice looking, by Ian Compsty. 48% funded, 26 days to go. He has previously done a different project, or 2 apparently, which was another kind of a old school deck. This one looks pretty nice. You got kind of standard indexes with kind of vintage style faces and kind of old school type pips almost, sort of. It's almost, I think it's kind of inspired by tarot playing cards. Yes, they are inspired by tarot playing cards, artwork wise. Printed by Cardamundi, so the quality is going to be good. And they've included some of the elements of the old school pips or suits, like the swords and whatnot, cups. I believe they've done that. But yeah, very nice. I like that artwork. I like that style. Some of the number cards, they're definitely pretty cool. They're definitely done in the style of those tarot decks. And here's a back design, simple. This is definitely one that I'm interested in, and I definitely recommend checking it out. He has done a couple other projects. He did the Inglewood hunting deck, which had no interest to me whatsoever. The last one he did was the Viceroys, which was again inspired by medieval Mamluk cards. But I just don't like it because it's too hard to distinguish the pips from the artwork, as you can see, and the indexes are really small. This one, however, I am down with, and I definitely recommend checking it out. Moving on, we got the Bicycle Wild West playing cards by Justin Freud. It is 85% funded, 15 days to go. Recommend checking it out. Let's get it funded. It's almost there. Then there's the Eye Catcher playing card box by Eye Catcher. You can see the Eye Catcher deck there in the bottom left corner. If you haven't seen that one, I'm not getting that one. That's for sure. I don't like how it's done, how it's laid out. It's 39% funded, 27 days to go. this whole box thing may or may not fund. That's all I'm going to go into with it. Bicycle limited edition varied playing cards by Magic Trickstore, aka collectible cards. 57% funded, 21 days to go. May or may not make it. It is a pretty nice deck. I do recommend having a look at it at the very least. Van Bolton Mystical Creatures playing cards by Oscar A. Believe I looked it down last week. It's 49% funded, 23 days to go. Not sure it's going to fund at this rate, but it's well done. Christopher playing cards with Furlan and Boston by Christopher is funded with 14 days to go. You know, I can't say it's not worth a look. Just not my cup of tea. Grid Series 2 typographic playing cards by Luke Waddy, second edition of his deck. It's pretty interesting looking. 36% funded, 22 days to go. Not sure it's going to make it at this rate, but it's still possible. And it's an interesting looking deck, that's for sure. If you're into that type of decks, for sure check it out. Sisterhood of Blood, Volume 2 by Kirk Slater. 53% funded, 10 days to go. It's not looking too good at this rate. It's beautiful artwork. It's definitely worth checking out. I recommend it. Like I said, I'm not just going to make it at this rate. Perhaps, especially considering we're getting into the Christmas season, it's could be a bit of an issue. He should have perhaps launched this heading into Halloween. Might have done better. Plus, there's so many other projects on Kickstarter right now that it just hurts it. Then we got 8-Bit Legacy playing cards by Home Run, run by Kobe Pyle. Well funded. They had a very low goal, 9 days to go. Personally, this has been done before. If you missed out, by all means, check it out. But quite frankly, I'm not a fan. It's been done before. All I'm seeing from these guys is reprints and relaunches and nothing too new or exciting for the most part. And quite frankly, I don't think that Kickstarter is the place to come on and, you know, reproduce decks that have already been produced. Is there minor changes to it? Perhaps. I'm not entirely sure. One change that I'm not a fan of is that these are being produced by Freedom playing cards in China, which the quality could be one way or the other. They have produced other decks with them in the past, and I mean the quality is okay, but it's not great. It's not, you know, USB-C type quality. It's not bad by any means. It's just not on par with some of the other companies, but it is cheaper. It's made in China, so that's what it is. It's good for made in China, but it's not, you know, USB-C or United States quality, or Taiwan quality for that matter. Next up, we got the Friendly Felines playing cards by Will Roya. It's funded, 7 days to go. I'll look at the 8-bit in case you've never seen them before as well. The 8-bit playing cards, if you haven't seen them before, they came out a few years ago. And there's been a few different versions. They got two versions here, a gold and a black one, I guess. $1,200 gold, so I guess it's funded okay. If you want to know more about Freedom playing cards quality, I do have reviews on some of the decks that they produced there before, the vintage decks. As you can see, it's basically Nintendo 8-bit game inspired. That design features cartridges and figures and controllers, all sorts of stuff. Borders look really thick on that. The pips feature faces like you might see in a Nintendo game. Core cards, again, figures like you might see in a Nintendo game or some other similar game system, Sega maybe. And yeah, pretty interesting. It's interesting also how they kept the hearts almost kind of just like pixelated standard core cards, but the rest have some custom figures, or they're all custom basically. And then there's the gold deck right here, which is more the same. Again, it looks like it's right out of Super Mario Brothers, with a little maybe Zelda in there. Or maybe it's all Zelda, I'm not sure. I haven't played a whole lot of Zelda. But yeah, it's pretty interesting for what it is. And look at that, there's Link. Apparently there's a treasure brick box. It's pretty cool. I mean, it is what it is. You can still add on the old decks, as you can see, an original deck. Wait, now I'm curious. So it's $10 for these decks, new decks, or you can get the original decks for $10. There's the original black and gold. There's a platinum one, which is actually this is a bicycle branded black deck, which is limited, and they may pull from the add-ons. A black and gold, which is done by, I don't know, I think it was done by Liberty Playing Cards. I'm not sure. It was not good quality at all. Just buyer beware. Bicycle branded red and blue, and a gold one. Again, these are limited. They're running low on stock. And this green one, the 2600 edition, inspired by the Atari. Again, the same quality as this black and gold one for $8, which is not good. And a mini gold for $5. And coin, all sorts of stuff. Yay. Moving on to the friendly felines. I feel like this has been done before. Could be wrong. Will Roya, $127 gold. This guy's some kind of a magician with a lot of money who, as for some reason, decided to produce decks that would otherwise not fund. And I mean, case in point, he's gotten $1,300 in pledges for this, because it's not that appealing. It would be nice if you had actually put his money behind decks that are actually nice and that people actually want, as opposed to producing decks that most people really don't care about. No offense to Will Roya. Will Roya, by the way, is the guy who owns PlayingCardDecks.com. Check out his website for all sorts of decks. It's a full blue back with cats on the back. Yeah. Not an overly exciting back design. I would have preferred if the two cats went right in the center, or were more bicycle-like, a little bit more away from the center. But it's not a bad back design when you look at it, when you fan it out, spread it out. But I prefer the butterfly decks, just saying. And then the court cards, they are cats. Each one has a different cat, apparently. The aces as well. Number cards, fairly standard. I mean, it's an okay deck for what it is. It's just not my cup of tea. It's coming from a guy who has a cat he's not wrong right now. Usually he's on the couch sleeping at this point in time. But yeah, I mean, it's okay. He has some gaff cards as well, though I'm not sure how many magicians would actually use this. Including a blank ace of diamonds and one with a different cat entirely. And again, I would have preferred the aces. This is just me, but I prefer the aces to be aces and not glorified fourth court cards, which is exactly what they've done here by adding cats on them. Numbered seal, only 1,000 being produced. Yay, there it is. Special thanks to everyone except VJose832. I mean, you got Cardify, United Cards, Max, Magic Orthodoxy, and not me. Which is fine. I really don't care. Moving on. Official Sci-Fi Angels Playing Cards by John Daniel Taylor IV. Garbage in my opinion. It's funded. 14 days to go. It surprisingly has $3,800. I don't know why. But all these people on crack. Moving on. I apologize if I'm getting a little bit weird here. We got the Day of the Dolls Luxury Point Cards by Stephen Lewis. 68% funded, 11 days to go. How this one is not funded and the Sci-Fi Angels is, I don't know. Again, people are cuckoo. Pixel Bug Playing Cards by Mark V. Not that I'm a huge fan of Day of the Dolls, but I would prefer Day of the Dolls any day over a smut on that other deck. Pixel Bug Playing Cards by Mark V. I don't know. It's 3% funded, 59 days to go. If you need 2 months to fund a project, it's probably not good. $8,900 goal. Yeah, this is not looking good as it is. The back design, yeah. Pixelated. Yeah, not good at all. Those borders look like they're pretty massive, if you want to call them borders. Unique back design creates interesting card fans. Well, there's about 800 other decks that do it better. Just saying. Plus, I don't think that a lot of cards are interested in this deck. For fanning. So it kind of defeats the purpose. It is completely custom. And that is it. It's completely custom down to the jokers, yet they have not shown us any of the faces. Why? I have no freaking idea. Is it in the video? Maybe. Let's have a peek. Turn down the audio just in case. Not that I'm sure you can hear the audio. Come on, turn off the audio. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to check out the video because I'm curious. I'm just trying to find where we see some cards, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing so far for the cards. Yeah, not at all. So some cards. They're not even really putting any effort into showing us the cards. If the faces were that great and they're so custom, you know, why not show us? There we go. They are completely unusable. I don't want to say garbage, but it's up there. If you're going to make a deck and you're going to be all fancy in a video about fanning and flourishing, then why bother customizing the faces to begin with if you're not going to show them? But you look at that, the indexes are completely unusable. It's just a letter or a number. There's no pips, so it's not identifiable. It doesn't even look like there's pips on the number cards. It's just artwork. It's very repetitive looking. Absolute pass, in my opinion. There is no rhyme or reason to back this. If they can't even bother to show us pictures of what the cards look like, why bother? NPC printed, $8,900 goal. Yikes. Moving on. This is why they need 2 months to fund, because it's not good. Always be aware of projects that need 2 months to fund. They have a 2-month goal. If they feel they need 2 months to get the goal, to get funded, then it's probably a problem. Signature 5-point cards by Facundo Magic Card Creators. 4% funded, 4 days to go. That's absolutely not going to fund at this rate. Then we got Art of Cardistry, Stained Glass Playing Cards by Dylan Prescott. It's actually not Art of Cardistry. It's not bookable. It's a stained glass playing card deck. It is funded. 25 days to go. Pretty low goal. NPC printing. And this one I do actually like. Although I'm not backing it, I do like it. I appreciate it. The reason I'm not backing is because it's $20 US for a deck. NPC printed deck. No thank you. That seems pretty expensive. And it just looks like something that is a fairly standard bicycle deck. I do like what they did with the faces. The core cards and the pips. Nice custom. Stained glass look to them. As you can see, and a nice back design with a swirly pattern. Good for fanning and flourishing. Especially if it was a USB-C quality. Although it is a one-way back design. However, I will say, and the tuck case is pretty nice and unique. Apparently they're producing 2,500 numbered seals, which is not even limited. So why is it so freaking expensive? I don't know. Free shipping anywhere in the world though, so that's good. So I guess shipping is kind of included, which means it's not free. If you're paying $20, you're basically paying for shipping. So it's not free, it's just included. But basically, I will say, if you want a stained glass themed deck, there is others out there, and I would point you in the direction of one from Collectible Playing Cards, which is probably half the price. Not factored in shipping, of course. And it's USB-C, so the quality will be good. I'm not sure how they're going to produce 2,500 decks on a $1,200 goal. That also would concern me, so I'm definitely staying far away. Next up, we have Crystal Cobra from TCC Cardistry. TCC Playing Cards, 98% funded, 27 days to go. Obviously, it's going to fund. It is funded. Let's just call it what it is. Actually, yeah. And for some reason, again, they're saying 19,000 Hong Kong dollars out of a $3,200 Canadian goal. So now they're telling me how much it is. The goal is in Canadian with Kickstarter nowadays, and how much they got in Hong Kong dollars, because that helps me out a lot. But actually, it's kind of interesting, I would say. If only they would convert the actual price of the product for you. It's pretty nice though. Crystal Cobra. The back design, as you can see right there, it's crystal looking. It says it's fully customized court cards. Comes in the Monica order, the Monica stack. 2,500 decks by Ericus Infinite, USP produced. It's a decent back design, and they have customized their faces. As you can see, they are similar to, what is it, the Art of Cardistry ones. One of their other decks. They're kind of faceless, they're crystallized, yet they're, familiar looking, kind of standard-ish, and nice colors, purples and pinks. I like it. It's one that I will just pick up later on because I know it will be available later on. Ooh, never noticed that. The Joker's, it's a Cobra. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Definitely worth checking out. But again, it's something that will be available later on, no doubt. Then there is the Wooden Trainer playing cards by TCC as well. TCC presents, because they've got to run a project from 3 different accounts at a time nowadays. I don't know why. And they're just trainers. They are wood trainers, and if you're not familiar with that, they're cards that are thicker than usual, made out of wood or metal or whatever it might be, plastic, to help learn how to do cardistry. And I guess they work. But there's no faces or anything like that. And usually you get like 5 in a package, whatever it is. Royal Secret playing card by Royal Secret Cards is 19% funded, 14 days to go at this rate. It's not going to make it. Choice Cloverbacks by Ben Colazzi and Penguin Magic is 80% funded, 18 days to go. Definitely worth checking out. They're nice decks, fairly straightforward, standard, but they are nice backs. And then we got the Copper Unicorn and Steel Hippo metal playing cards by Jeff at Home Run Games, because again, all they know how to do is apparently putting out the same old. 57% funded, 16 days to go. May or may not fund, I'm not sure. Well, metal playing cards are expensive, and it's a big goal as well. Physics playing cards by Mikhail Stolpovsky is 48% funded, 7 days to go. Probably not going to happen at this rate. Cards of Creation storytelling card game, won't pass on that. Not playing cards. Janken Deck by Jeffrey Daymont is 90% funded, 26 hours to go. It may or may not make it at this rate. It's very close. It's an interesting deck with 5 suits. It's by Paper, Rock, Scissors. There's also Water and Lizards. And it can be used for regular card games and also for playing a card game using the rock, paper, scissors notion. Hey, my card beats yours, your card beats mine, whatever. That's interesting. Creatures deck, relaunched by Rana Mahmood, 23% funded, 13 days to go. Not going to happen at this rate. Queen cards by Queen Cards, funded, 4 days to go. It's an interesting idea, reversing the kings and the queens, making the queens female. Making the queens male and the kings female. Pretty interesting deck. Again, it's not really my cup of tea. Just because there's so many other decks going on right now, I just can't afford to pledge to them all. But it's not a bad deck. Yay. I'll be right back. I apologize. I was trying very hard to get this done before that alarm went off. Well, I guess we can quickly, I just wanted to double check Queen cards. Is there anything else? The Sun Tzu's deck by D. Rodriguez is 46% funded, 28 hours to go. Not going to happen. I don't think, unless there's a miracle in the works. Dracula Cat Poker cards by Patet Cedric. 32% funded, 18 days to go. I don't see it happening, but it could. Um, Directory Cat again. Sensu's again. Well, won't worry about the tarot decks. Or that one. A Oracle deck. A Beatles tarot deck. Yeah, no legal issues there. I saw this one. It's a guy running a project, Baba, for a card production spring. You produce it's propeller spring. You produce a card during a spring. Why is this on Kickstarter? It's not an actual. I mean, it's a tutorial for doing a production in a spring, and apparently it's using it as well to promote a upcoming playing card project. So yeah, moving along. We won't promote that any more than we already have. We'll wait for the playing card project and see if it's any good. Queen cards. Just a very quick look here. It's beautiful artwork on the faces, as you can see, making an image of female. The kings are female. The queens, I guess, is what they are. And then the actual queens, I guess they're queens as well. They're actually guys now. And it's all about women's rights and equality, and that's fine. I definitely, I support that. You can see here the queens are men, kings are women. That's what it's all about. They haven't shown us the jacks or any of the other cards. And the back design is just not great, in my opinion. The back design is the low point of this project. Could have been better. But it is what it is. So that is that. And stay tuned, we'll go over what's going on in the world of cards outside of Kickstarter in the next video. See ya.